We're going to do another one of these videos, make it kind of quick. What I'm thinking, the topic is protein. In light of recent events, I've been listening to some videos that between Solomon Nelson and Lyle McDonald, and I was watching one that was talking about protein intake, and this one, initially I didn't select to watch it. YouTube auto-played and it came on, and I'm really glad that it did, because something that has confused me in this space is that I've seen people, a common question is, how much protein do I need to be consuming, right? And you will get all sorts of ranges, like you'll have people say a gram per pound or a gram per kilogram, or 1.7 or 0.8 grams per whatever the fuck. And you know what? It can be really tough to see all that and be like, all right, so what is it? When I did my NASM CPT certification, in their book, it was one thing that I always found odd is that the measurement that I saw was around 1 gram per kilogram of body weight, not per pound of body mass, per kilogram of weight. So it's like, that's kind of odd. That would mean essentially you only need like half the amount of protein that you think you do. So if you're like 200 pounds, thinking that you need 200 pounds of protein, that's not entirely accurate. If you're just like a regular schmegular dude like me, you just go to the gym, you want to be healthy, build some muscle, look good, feel good, and kind of just make the process of getting older kind of work for you, just like living your best. If you're just that guy, you can get away with less. A gram per kilogram of body weight. Kilogram is 2.2 pounds. So just divide your weight by 2.2. There you go. That's your kilograms. If you are an athlete or a bodybuilder, which when you're watching these people online, oftentimes it's from the perspective of like a bodybuilder might need 1 gram per pound. And caveat, it's okay to at least go over on protein. It's not going to kill you. That being said, what I'm trying to illustrate is that the protein target is not as high as you might think it is. If you are enhanced, your body works a little bit differently. You may be able to benefit from more protein because your body is synthesizing that protein and building muscle at a more efficient rate than someone who is not enhanced. So again, this kind of introduces the concept of nuance, and nuance does not apply to fitness. It applies in everything. So things are not always black and white. So for instance, in a study, if you take a study and you are, let's say me, for instance, about to be 33 years old, male, relatively healthy. If this study is looking at like elderly people, then this study really doesn't tell me much for me, because this study didn't involve people like me. Additionally, maybe in the study they have a wide age range. Well, that's really going to change and introduce some variability on the results that you might see, because people's bodies perform differently throughout the lifespan. Also, when people say like the participants in these studies, like an athlete, well, what is being used to qualify or quantify this word? So an athlete, because someone likes to run every weekend leisurely, are they an athlete? Or is it somebody who's sprinting and competing, right? Or someone who just plays a sport, are they an athlete? What differentiates an athlete between someone that's just playing a game or likes to play a game? So that's the biggest problem with these studies that often get cited in the modern YouTube fitness space, that, again, has been getting called out more recently. But just because there is a study, or that science says one thing in one circumstance, you can't take things like that and apply them over, like, you can't generalize. It's just not going to work that way. You have to take nuance into consideration and think, given the context, given training frequency, given, where you're at. Also, with that protein thing that I mentioned, one thing that Lyle brought up, which is a very great point, is that basing, and kind of what's wrong with basing your protein intake off of body weight, he suggested it really should be based off of lean body mass. Because if you are, let's say, if you're carrying around a bunch of body weight, that's going to skew the amount of protein that you need to be consuming. Where really you're trying to consume protein to support muscle growth. So basing that number based on lean body mass will probably yield you a more accurate amount of protein for you to consume. However, so I'll say, like, as a general rule, if you're like, all right, this video is all the fuck over the place, how much protein should I need to be consuming? The answer, it depends. As with a lot of things, it depends. But for most people, for Joe Schmo, the average guy, you will be A-okay with 1 gram per kilogram per body weight. If you want to go more, go more. You start building muscle, you're more active, you're going to have greater demands on your body for protein, right? So then, I mean, if you want to eat more protein, go right ahead. It's not going to hurt. But this is really for those people that, man, I'm trying to eat, but I can't get, I'm really struggling to get my protein in. Focus on food first before you focus on protein supplementation. Now, ideally, you have a decent amount of protein at every meal. If you could get 20 to 30 grams, that wouldn't be too bad. Or if you get a little bit of amounts throughout the day, fine. It all depends on how you eat. However, the more, if you're consuming protein and you're getting it from whole food sources, you're going to be building muscle in the idle time. You're still going to be building muscle. You don't need to consume it right after a workout. There's going to be a period of time where the protein levels in your body are going to be up here, and then they're going to slowly taper off. And especially with casein protein, it's a slow digesting protein, so that concentration in your blood is going to go up and then just gradually taper off. And when that's happening, your body's still using it. It's not like your body, I'm going to bed, so I'm just not going to do anything anymore. That's when you recover. Your body's constantly working. And the idea that at a certain point, nope, it just stops and we don't build muscle anymore. We're done. We didn't get through all the protein that we consumed for the day, so our body's got to stop doing it. Where the fuck am I going? See, that's why I can't do these things. I am lost, my friend. I took a right turn when I shouldn't. Anyhow, I know that this was kind of all over the place. I'm actually heading to the gym, gonna do a chest workout. Don't know if I'm going to record it. You know, as you know, if you've been following, I've recorded my workouts for a while. And if I'm being honest, it just didn't really seem like people like to see them. I mean, they might be kind of boring, or I don't know. It's not the most exciting thing all the time. I think that when you are watching yourself, you maybe have more of a vested interest. So I continued to upload them, but I did want to try to branch out, and I consume more commentary style content, and I want to experiment with more commentary style content. I'm not really sure about React content and and these are kind of similar, but with an actual where I sit and watch a video, I'm not really too familiar on how to set all that up, and then B, with copyright things, and this is a whole other fucking thing with YouTube, but I don't want to have to deal with fucking copyright issues and demonetization. Not that I'm really monetized at all, but I don't really want to deal with that. I kind of like the summary. It's like a quick summary. But anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. Head in the gym, gonna listen to some music, and yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember, stay beautiful and that you are loved. Boop!